Oh, hi. It's Kristen. I'm back. Another episode of Epitaphs. I do not know how to get myself from being so bright. I just sit in front of this window and that's what it is. So, welcome. This week I am going to go over the edit that I did for Stevie, who interpreted the word slut. That was last week. And then this week we talked to Alcestis Vulgari from Athens, Greece. And so I'm going to try to get to hers also. I'm catching up and I still have to get to Sophie, and then I'm going to hopefully work ahead so I can get to some printing before the end of the series. So let me go ahead and pull up the video that I did for Stevie. And I'll talk through that. And then let's see where it is. Not that one. Okay. Let me get to y'all. Okay. I'm going to share my screen. This is a time lapse that I did where I was editing Stevie and her information and the work that she did for the word slut for the museum. Okay. Sorry, getting a little slow start here, guys. So if you remember, a memoryscape is a composite of different people and places, and I use numbers from geographic location, birth dates, all of these things. I've gone over this a couple times, but not sure like who's new and whatnot. So this, I start by making colors. So I've made colors based on Stevie's birthday and some important dates, and then began to pixelize her images, and then those will come in and be used in this distortion. And so I've pixelated them based on important numbers. And then here I'm going to be gathering some topographic screenshots. Again, same thing that I've been doing. But she had some really interesting and different locations that gave me some good geographic location data also, because when you think about the quadrants, a lot of them are going to end up being around the same if they're in the United States. But we have, this is the Bronx, and then we had Melbourne, Bermuda, Fargo, North Dakota was a cool one. The texture was cool on there. And so here I'm gathering the numbers that you'll be able to see pretty easily how those come in as I'm distorting. Okay, so these are the geographic locations, and then I'm gathering these textures. And so this is Fargo, North Dakota. I really loved that grid that it made. And then Bermuda. I might want to go back and use these colors also. I just I love that blue and that texture of the ocean. And then Sydney. And then what else did we grab? Albuquerque, New Mexico. Okay, 4 very different places. And so those are going to come in, and I'm going to distort her image a couple times. Let me fast forward a little bit. I have to save those all as Photoshop files for them to be able to be distorted. But it's pretty fun to see when it happens, okay? Yeah, so those numbers there, as I pull up that displacement map, these numbers, the horizontal shift and the vertical shift, are coming from the geographic locations. And so that's kind of a way to inform, like I could put in any random number in there, but I like to have it be a part of the, having to do with the person. And so I went in and distorted, I think you missed it, but yeah, distorting with those locations. And then now I just start to combine the images. So we can fast forward a bit to see what I got to. I'm using this month and day grid where I'm selecting pixels based on birth dates and events. And then I start to kind of really pull it all together. And so these I've been keeping at around 20 to 30 minutes because that's what the live stream edits have been also. And so I'm trying to keep it pretty consistent. And so I really feel like I could really spend like at least an hour on each person. But that would be a really drawn out situation. So what I got to for Stevie is, let me get to Photoshop and then I'll go into Alcestis. Although I feel like I have been, hold on, let me pull up this so you can see. I'm so bright on this screen, y'all. Okay, so this is what, here we go. This is what I got to for Stevie. And so again, I have now this, we're about halfway through the show. Well, we're more than halfway through the show, but I have Sophie. This week we talked to Alexis for Evil, and then I have 6 more edits to do. I've done 5 now after this one, but the next step is going to be combining all of these into one. So I think I might mix it up a little bit today and do some of that because I can then, it's something a little bit different. I feel like I've been doing the same thing for 5 weeks. And so what I think I'm going to do is have my artist fill out this information so that I can work ahead. And then I want to get to the printing. So let me jump back over there. And my computer is probably going to be really slow, and I apologize. So I'm gonna get into combining some of these that I've made. Okay. And then, yeah, if you guys have any questions, you can put it in the chat, and, suggestions, kind of what you like, what you don't like. I love to get some feedback. And then if you're watching this after, I'd love to see what you guys think also. But for now, all right, let's go in here. So we've done 4, 5 total. And so I'm going to open all of these. Hopefully I can find them easily also. That's going to be the next issue. These are going to be really slow. Okay, so this is Clara. Okay, so again, we are making a memoryscape. If you haven't been keeping up with the show, you definitely should go back and watch some of these interviews. Dialect has been digging into one word every week. So there's 11 words in the museum, and he's been digging into one word each week. And every Tuesday goes into the etymology, and then on Thursdays he's interviewing our artists. So we commissioned 11 artists to interpret one word, each having one word for the museum, and that work is being debuted every week. And there's an artist talk with them online every Thursday at 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Pacific time. And so those artists that's where this information is coming from. And so, like I said, we are more than halfway through the museum. I have a couple more of these to do. And, you know, I hate to come on here and like lollygag around, but you know, some days it's just not worth, you know, some days it's just like a nice day and we're gonna just roll with it. So this will be fun to see kind of what I've done over the past couple weeks, I guess almost like a month or so now. Yeah, the whole show is 11 weeks, so we are moving right along. And then on the last week, November 22nd is our last day of the show, and that's a Sunday, and that'll be kind of the wrap up where I'll finish out this memoryscape, and it'll probably still, I'm assuming that I'll have more to do after the show wrap, so you're just gonna have to keep up with us. But you know, because I don't like to rush these things, but I'm thinking it would be fun to do kind of a group wrap of the show. And the last word of the museum is truth, and Damascena is interpreting that word, and I've loved our conversation. So I'm thinking the last week it will be fun to have a group call, group kind of live stream where we talk about truth, really. And because I think that as we've seen the work and as we've been digging into these pieces, a lot of people have been talking about their experience and, you know, trying to find universal truth, which is, what is that? I mean, when you have so many different perspectives and experiences, what is a universal truth? And so I hesitate to even say that, to use that, you know, universal truth, because everyone, you know, it's so subjective. So that'll be a fun conversation. And I'm interested to see what Demo does for her piece. So as you see, we're opening up here and I'm going to start to combine these things. So this one that was Joy, who interpreted the word miscegenation. Again, you can go back and watch these videos and see how I got here. Hopefully my computer doesn't crash, y'all. We're just, you know, rolling with everything. So there's so much here. I'm wondering, you know, it's going to be interesting to see how these all come together into one piece. So this is the aspect ratio of the final piece. And we have to combine 11 different memoryscapes into one. So I'm going to, you know, use a lot of these dates and see where we get. Oh my goodness. Okay, guys, thanks for being patient. This is going to be a boring video. We're going to get to this now. Let's see. These are like 800 megabytes each. So first thing I need to do is flatten these images so that I'm not working with like a crazy amount of bits on here. It's insane. Should have done this earlier, but Sundays tend to be like a good work day, and then 4 o'clock comes so fast. So I need to work throughout the week, and I want to do that so that we can get ahead on these, because I want to show you. I think that the printing will be really fun to do live. So that's my goal. But before I print, I have to get everyone's info. So it is kind of hard to work ahead. But all right. I think we're getting somewhere. Okay, cool. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, let me flatten these guys because they're so big. And then we can look at them all together. The spinning wheel of death, they're giving me a problem. Ugh. Layer. We're going to discard these layers. I'm sorry I wasn't more prepared. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, you guys. I updated my computer and I swear it's worse. I like do not understand what's going on. I had this Mac is like 2015, but it got completely refurbished with a whole terabyte hard drive, and I swear since I updated this thing last week, it's been slow. I used to be able to run programs because I always have really big files, but I used to be able to run programs like Premiere and Lightroom and Photoshop and QuickTime all at the same time. And for some reason, it's like, I think that Apple does this on purpose so that you have to buy a new computer, which, oh, please. I am not. I cannot. This thing is pretty sturdy though. I still have the old MacBook that still has the CD drive in it, and it doesn't have those freaking like, I guess they got rid of all of the ports, and so you have to get a new attachment again. Okay, fun fact. Do you guys know that, and okay, someone can fact check me on this, but the year that the little dongle for the headphones came out, you know, when they got the new jack, everyone had the old headphones still. And so that year, Apple's highest grossing product was that little dongle for the headphone jack. And that's what they do. They do it on purpose so that you have to buy a whole thing. Anyway, that was a long rant just so that we could get through this. So I don't know how to make these files like temporarily smaller. I need them to be this big because I have to print them. So this is not like I'm working. That's another thing. Like, it's not like I'm working just to have a digital file. I have to print these big enough. And so in order to do that, these have to be big files. Okay. So we're going to go through and let's just layer these, and then I can close out stuff. Okay. 1. Spinning wheel of death, I swear. It's going to drive me nuts. I probably have lost everybody just because it's really annoying. Okay. So now, okay, I'm going to close out everything else. Don't save. We're going to keep that big layered file just in case I need anything. But I flattened them and brought them all over to the main piece. Okay. That was I'm sorry. I could have just started like that. But anyway, here we are. Okay, let's look at these all together. This is fun. So this is the piece that I got to on the first live stream that I did about Hypocrite for Clara, who lives in Nigeria. She did drawing and painting, mostly drawings, 5 pieces for Hypocrite. And then the second week was racist/racism, which was interpreted by Steven. And he is in Pittsburgh. I love this piece. I love these colors. It's going to be fun to see how these all come together. Okay, and then I was out a couple weeks, but I did get to Joy, who did Miscegenation. She did this whole installation. And then Normal with Lynn, who did stop motion animation. And then Stevie did Slut. Again, I know I still have to do sexism. This week is evil, but let's start adding these together so we can start to see like what this thing is going to look like. This is really exciting. I do see some pieces that I want to be sure to preserve. I really love the writing in here, and I definitely need to get to some negative space. So, and we're already at 20 minutes, y'all. This might be a little bit longer today. Sorry I had like a little hiccup in the middle there. I could have gotten through this a lot faster, but I think I'm getting to the point where these just require a little bit more time. So I can also begin to distort these with other pieces. But let me just start simple and start to combine these. Select similar. So I deleted some out, so that's going to give me something like that. And then I'm going to go up here. That's being combed through that. And I'm going to do this again. Okay. So I'm going to select this white and then bring out that normal and then mask that away. Not completely get rid of it yet, but we're going to mask it out. Okay. And then yeah, this is, this is the most involved piece that I've done, like where I have so many layers that are coming together. This is really when where I start to get into painting, okay? So yeah, bear with me. I might kind of go a little quiet because I want to see how this is going to come together. All right, so let me start selecting through layers. And yeah, that's fun. I want to make sure that these are really interweaving and not just like stacking. That's been a big part of this process for me in developing this process is, working in Photoshop, I just get like I was like, I did a whole, okay, so in high school, at least in North Carolina, we have to do a graduation project. And so for graduation project, you have to do this in order to graduate. My whole senior paper and speech and project was on why film photography is better than digital. And I was just like so against digital. And then I just think it's funny that here I am doing like a lot of digital work. But the reason I love film photography is because it's really all about the process. I loved the time in the darkroom. And that's kind of what this has evolved into. Just realizing like I love the hands-on and just a freaking crazy elaborate project process. So I kind of see what I want, but it really just becomes like I said, I control parts of it, and then I get to a point where it really is like painting, and I'm going to just keep it moving until it looks like, until it's right. I don't know how to explain it. I don't know when it's done, but sometimes it's done when I'm exhausted, and you know, you just know. So I'm trying to get these letters. I don't know if you can, yeah, you can probably see these, but these are coming from Lynn's animation that she did. I grabbed some screen grabs of her project, and I really want to I like to get that because they're kind of like geometric, a little bit of a representational to add to this abstraction. And so we'll see if it picks it up, and then I'm going to bring it through. And I could also just go to that file, but I don't want to spend the time while I'm live to do that. But yeah, like you see how that normal is coming out, and then I'm going to pull that through. I'm going to make a copy of it so I don't lose the selection. You know, I feel like these videos, it might be good for people who are into Photoshop. It's like really become like a lot about Photoshop. But it's just kind of my way of processing things. Put on some Stevie Ray Vaughan and just go deep for like 3 hours, and then I'm like, what happened? Which I'm saying like I could do for these. So like I said, this series is the first time I've ever done a live stream or anything. So, and you know, I'm still learning how to not be awkward, but I think I'm always going to be. All right, so let me I'm gonna make a copy of this so that I can keep it. And then I just command click on that layer, and then I can, once that's selected, you can see those little marching ants. Once that's selected, I'm going to go down below and pull out something. Okay, that's cool. I'm into that. And then what I'm going to do is I think bring it up and blend it into this. It's funny that the blending mode is normal, and that's what I'm working on. But I'm going to blend it into this and we'll see if it does anything, but let me see where we started. It doesn't look like anything. All right, I need to, oh, it's because that's on. Duh. Okay. Yeah, so we can start to pull out some of that from Joy's piece. I kind of like that crazy, the vibrant. And then yeah, y'all are going to see how it happens. I know it looks kind of crazy right now, but it's going to there's going to be a lot of deconstruction after this point. And that's why the videos, like recording the process, has become so important, because, you know, all of these people in my own work, all of these people and the places that make up the layers are so important. And it feels like there's so much work into it to just be, you know, to not become part of the process. So I'm kind of getting into more video editing and want to experiment with how this editing becomes part of the piece, you know, because I'll get the finished piece, but there's so much more to be done. And so, or there's so much more to the work. So I know we're at 30 minutes, and yeah, I like that so far. I really like that. And again, it's so cool that it encompasses all these artists, and the print is going to be so much different. But again, this is only halfway. So I think as I move forward, I'm going to begin to edit the new artist pieces on top of this working file so that I can really continue to weave them together. So yeah, let me know what you think in the comments. Again, this is a memoryscape, so kind of about reflection, and the series Epitaphs concludes the week, every week of the show. We have 4 more weeks left, and at the conclusion of the whole series, we'll have a finished piece and these awkward videos to look to. So next week, tomorrow begins Deserve. We're going to be talking about Deserve and why it's dead and how it died through overuse online, through, you know, just conversation that doesn't have tone or rhythm. It loses its meaning. And so we're going to talk about Deserve. We'll have a lyric video come out for the song that Dialect wrote. It is Elwood's song. And then on Tuesday, he'll be doing his Blueprints in Progress, talking about, like I said, how the word died and why. And then on Thursday, we're debuting the work of Jose Trejo Maya, who is incredible. He did these poems and manuscripts and is using visual language to get his artwork about the word out. So that'll be on Thursday, and then I'll be back again next week on Sunday. So please join us. Like I said, we have 4 more weeks left, and yeah, thanks for being here. Okay, we'll see you next week.